we go. I got so many interesting comments and questions on my March 29th post showing the new display rack that I thought it would be nice to do a video tour of the showroom. What you're about to see is 45 years of collecting and saving movie equipment from the scrapyard. Some of the cameras I show here are recent acquisitions that have not been serviced yet, but the majority have been lovingly restored to working condition while respecting the patina for many years of film. The first camera you see is a 1920s vintage Stein 2-strip color camera. It was used to shoot an early color process called natural color. Next we have an original Mitchell-made BNCR spinning mirror reflex camera. Below the Stein camera is an Airflex 35mm BL4S. BL4S has always been one of my favorite cameras. Behind the 4S is an Airflex BL2, the great-granddaughter of a BL4S, and on the bottom shelf are some of the many Arri 2B and 2C cameras, some fully restored and others still needing TLC. As we move on to the next display, along the wall you can see a Rackover Bell & Howell 2709, followed by a Mitchell NC, and an Eclair CM3, which I will talk about a little later. The next camera coming up is a Mitchell NC Reflex. Also on the top shelf are a couple of Mitchell Mark IIs. Below them is another Mitchell NC and several Mitchell Standards. Bottom shelf on this display holds many coveted early Mitchell geared heads. When I was still in the VFX business, these were the go-to pan-tilt heads, lovingly called Mitchell straight heads. Looking toward the back of the shop, we see a wooden hand-cranked Parvo camera, which is 90% restored with its original tripod and pan-tilt head. Above this is a sound blimp for a Mitchell 16mm Pro camera and a Bell & Howell 2709 previously converted for buyback animation. We also see a couple of Blackmagic Studio cameras from an unfinished feature film I was working on. As we turn the corner toward the back wall, we pass by a recently fully serviced and restored VistaVision butterfly camera. This camera features a Nikon lens mount and a spinning mirror reflex system designed and built by Freeze Engineering. Turning toward the display rack, we focus on a really unique Lubin 35mm hand-cranked camera. This camera features separate take-up and feed magazines. I was lucky to get one original magazine, and I still need to recreate another. Just behind the Lubin is a Mitchell NC, followed by a Mitchell GC. As we tilt down, on the second shelf from right to left is a Mitchell Standard, a Bell & Howell 2709, an Arri 2B, and two more Mitchell Standards. Turning back toward the butterfly camera, we pass by an unrestored 35mm Moviola location projector. Next up is a glass case full of 16mm format lenses, a collection of unit-eye shuttle movements for Acme and Bell & Howell cameras, and a lot of assorted camera accessories. Displayed on top of the case is an array of cool movie-making tools. Everything from stopwatches to variable diffusion filters, splicing blocks, lens adapters, frame punches, gaffer's glasses, and so many other knickknacks that you have to come to see for yourself to appreciate them all. Next to the display case is a motion picture apparatus tripod and pan-tilt head. On the wall above it is an early radio that I still need to find a horn for. Heading back toward the front of the showroom, we take a closer look at the Mitchell Mark IIs, one of which features an XR35 magazine, the other a 400-foot Mitchell magazine, and a different view of the Mitchell NCR. The second shelf has a few more Mitchell Standards and another view of the Mitchell NC from earlier. Across from those, we pan over to see a Vinton Model H camera, a white Mitchell GC, and a Freeze Mitchell 35R3. Above them is the Fox Grandeur camera. The FC was an early attempt at a widescreen format, and this camera was used on Raoul Walsh's masterpiece, The Big Trail, featuring John Wayne in his first starring role. Next we pass by an original Mitchell BNC Rackover, which was built before reflex viewfinders were developed. The operator had to rack the camera over to viewfind and compose, and then rack it back over to shoot. Here we get a glimpse of Jim Danforth's Cunningham effects projector in front of the lens case where an old solid brass gearhead is. Along the front wall is a display case filled with many 35mm format lenses currently available for sale. Many of these lenses are listed on our website, but I encourage you to call for more information about anything you see here or anything you don't see here. Completing the circuit back toward the front door, we pass by a MovieCam Super America. And I pause on a Burke & James Universal wooden hand crank camera. The Universal camera is sitting on top of a motion picture apparatus company tripod and pan tilt head. Starting from the front door again, let's take a closer look at a few of the things along the central wall. The first thing you see is an old Moviola upright film editing machine and a Westrex film editing machine, both patiently waiting to be repaired. Next in line is a 20th Century Fox Cine Simplex camera, a recent acquisition that has not yet been serviced. This camera is from the MovieTech Studios collection, but I believe it was part of the Mark Armstead Cine rental company. The last set of cameras being displayed on tripods starts with a rack-over Bell & Howell 2709, followed by a Mitchell NC, and then a Claire CM3. Along the far wall, we pan past some 8mm and 16mm cameras that I acquired over the years. I normally don't buy 8 and 16mm cameras, but these were all rescued with collections, and I didn't have the heart to see them end up in the landfill. So here they wait, ready for someone to take them home, appreciate and enjoy them. Among this collection are some Bell & Howell Filmos, an assortment of Aeroflex cameras, Bolex H16s, and an assortment of 35mm magazines, matte boxes, and accessories. Lower down on the wall, there are a couple of Arri 2Bs, a Mitchell single system 16mm sound-on film camera with its mixer, alongside a Panavision Arri 2C with follow focus, and even more Arri 2B and 2C cameras. From the back toward the front, there is a Mitchell BNCR, an Auricon CM74A, a Cine Kodak Special in its case, then one of the many Akeley gyro heads, and an Acme Model 6 35mm rack-over camera, affectionately known as the RACME, alongside its neighbor, the Jim Danforth Cunningham Effects Projector. A number of people asked about the Nagra tape recorders, so here is a closer look at 5 of the Nagras along with one Tandberg tape recorder. The Nagra tape recorders were the industry standard until the digital age. Most of them are newly acquired and not yet been tested, but the Tandberg works and is serviced recently. I really hope you enjoyed a closer look at what I have in my showroom. This is just a small glimpse of all the equipment I have. There is much more still waiting to be restored. Here's a brief glimpse at my machine shop where I make camera parts that are no longer available, and my workroom where I do the delicate and precision work. Everything in the showroom is available for sale. Check it out at CinemaGear.com. I encourage anyone who is interested to come see it in person. Visits are by appointment only, so please call or email to schedule ahead of time.